This is the first ever Shelby GT500 versus C8 Corvette Z06 race, and in this video we're going to find out how both these cars truly stack up, accelerating side by side with each other. We're going to find out which one is faster and evaluate based off performance metrics from data all the way up to 160 miles an hour, how they compare back to back. Let's do this today in this video. The Shelby GT500 is an unreal Mustang featuring 760 horsepower, but of course all of you already know that. The question is, can the Corvette compete relatively at all, considering it has almost 100 less horsepower? On the dyno I put down 610 to the wheel, which does mean this Corvette could be underrated. We're talking about a horsepower spread of less than 100 horsepower between these two cars. Now, will you see a difference given that one is mid-engine and one is not? Also, the Corvette does weigh about 500 pounds less than the Mustang. Well, if you haven't seen already, when we took delivery of our brand new Z06 Corvette, we actually stopped by a airstrip. It went half-mile racing. Two of the half-mile races, we actually raced GT500s. And I didn't actually give this more coverage out there, and I should have, because for all of you interested in this subject matter, you probably haven't seen it. Part of this video is going to be featuring those races of this Z06 versus a modified and a stock GT500, and then we're going to put it side by side with the data to see how fast I got with my own GT500 carbon fiber track pack with all the aero down the half mile. What is curious to me is that the Corvette does weigh less, but it has more downforce. I think that might slow it down for the top end acceleration. We're gonna find out. It was very cold when we did these runs, so initially the cars aren't launching ideally. Though it is not a make or break launch, it is definitely a launch that is reputable, I would say, and can show a real world performance metric. On the street, you're not going to be able to launch the Z06 10/10ths because these tires need to be properly warmed up if you are driving a Z07 equipped model with the Cup 2Rs, like me. These super sticky Michelin Pilot tires, they need to be really warm, hot, to get ignited into the glue that just creeps off and melts onto the ground. That gives you the unreal 2.6 or faster 0 to 60. Now, if we subtract that, let's just watch these runs to see how these two cars spread down the half mile. The first run is with me versus a modified GT500 featuring 900 horsepower, I'm told. Let's watch it. Keep going. Keep going. Definitely the owner of the Mustang jumped the line significantly before even I think the hands went down for the checkered flag lady. What's funny is that the gap, the margin towards mid to higher speeds, I would say over 100 miles an hour, the spread did not exponentially increase. They stayed close to each other. If we subtract the extra fast launch the Mustang got, I don't think this would be a big win for the Mustang. This shows you the Corvette can compete definitely with a more horsepower model. Now let's run the Z06 up against a stock GT500. Let's see how these two compare. definitely, I got the jump on him, and I keep going, pulling. Nowhere in sight. We dusted that car. The owner was a nice person. To talk to the owner. We definitely wanted to keep running. It's just the conditions weren't the best. That's one win for a modified GT500, and then a win for the Z06. It seemed like the 500 wasn't exactly gaining, even though the GT500 did trap a bit of a higher speed by a few miles an hour. The spread isn't night and day. Let's compare this from a numbers and data side of things. Let me pull up my runs with the GT500, my trap speeds, and all the technical stuff many of you really enjoy. 157 miles an hour with the GT500. Considering it has a lot more horsepower, the gap is only 3 miles an hour. That's not big. I would say a big gap is 10 miles an hour, 8 to 10. Then an even bigger gap is 20 miles an hour. The limitations we are seeing, I think, are inherently influenced by the aerodynamics. Let's look at the data from 60 to 130 miles an hour. What is the spread? For these runs, I did lower the tilt of the attack for the GT4 rear spoiler of the Mustang. Therefore, it gives you less drag resistance. And I did pull off the front dive planes on the GT500. They're actually called splitter wickers, which is a very funny name for them. And it was in a more streamlined aero setup than the Z07. That is one benefit of the GT500. You can customize whatever aero setup that you would like. Do you want more front end grip, more rear end grip, or do you want to cut through the air for acceleration? You can do that. That is what I like about this Mustang. Definitely the 500 will top out at a higher speed. From the lower end of the spectrum, from 0 to 60 or 0 all the way to 100, 120, this Corvette will beat it. The C8 puts down the power much more efficiently. It can put it all down, not waste any time spinning. Half-mile racing is not about that. Half-mile racing is about trap speed. The non-aero cars will be even faster because there's less air pushing down, pushing them back. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this first ever race between a C8 Z06 versus a GT500. We have real world metrics, sharing them with you today. Hope you enjoyed this content. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. It really has helped me out, and subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. I'll see all of you in the next episode.